This is an outrage.
The place of a woman is in the home, not protesting in the public eye.
What does she think she's doing?
The abolition movement does not need blacks.
Back in my day, women stay where they belong, in the home.
Yeah.
How long shall the fair daughters of Africa be compelled to bury their minds and talents beneath a load of iron?
My name is Maria
titles?
Stewart, and I believe that African Americans and women need to become more active so we can create a change in the system. In 1831, I wrote a pamphlet called Religion and Pure Principles, highlighting the need for education and equality for women. I recognize that going out and speaking in front of a crowd is odd for someone like me to do, but someone needs to do something. Someone needs to go against the grain. Someone needs to be willing to speak out in front of others to set a precedent. My name is Maria Stewart, and this is my story.
Hi, Miss Stewart.
Hello.
Could you tell me about what it is that you do?
Well, I've published many pamphlets in the Liberate, and I've spoken to crowds, whether they were black, white, women, men, against slavery and for women's rights. And I've given lectures, and I've been out, and I've been the first African American woman to do many of these things.
Who do you think you are to speak in public? You are a woman, and it's not your place in society to do that. Your place is to stay at home with children.
I think I have every right to do what I'm doing right now.
But you're a woman. You do
And-
not have any right to do that.
I have all the rights.
You have no rights. I'm keeping an eye on you.
How do you feel about that, Miss
Well,
Stewart?
it's expected. What I'm doing is not normal and not something that is what other people would think that I should do. So it's expected.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Stewart.
Greetings, children. My name is Igor, and today I will tell you a story. There was once a woman who believed in equal rights for men and women in education. Her name was Catherine Beecher, and this is her story. Catherine Beecher believed that women should be able to have the same rights to education as men. With her sister Mary, they decided to start a school. A few years later, the school grew, and then it was called Hartford Females Seminary. Beecher was so happy that now women have a bigger opportunity in education. Women can now study mathematics, philosophy, and Latin, which is a very useless language. Another school and went on to found the Women's Education Association. Buy your tickets in advance to hear the rest of the story. Good night, children.
This woman strove to do something great. It was
Female equality. I have the same rights as men. They cannot make me obey them.
Stanton even pushed for women to be able to maintain property rights after marriage. What pushed this woman to fight so hard for this equality? Well, it all started in Seneca, New York, at a convention.
Hey, Mom. How is it that they can make us sit here behind that curtain?
Well, we're women. Well, or at least that's theirs.
But that's not right. They can't just make us do something because we're women.
Stanton later met Susan B. Anthony, and together they fought for equality for women. Together they formed the National American Women's Suffrage Association with Stanton as superhero and Anthony as head sidekick. In other words, for those of you who don't understand, Stanton was president and Anthony was vice president. They both worked together for equality, but since Stanton had a tendency to contradict herself, she made herself an outcast, and Anthony is credited for most of the success they together achieved. How sad.
Abby Kelly's role in public life was very dangerous. Somehow, she was able to accept the challenges and go through the pain. Her famous motto is, "Go where you are least wanted, there you are most needed."
In a society where it demanded women to be silent and submissive to their men, she was none of these. Kelly was able to support herself as a school teacher until 1839. Then after some soul-searching, she decided to make a career of living through lecture fees. The respectable unmarried woman did not travel alone in that era, and she accepted both slander from people as she traveled. The label Abby Kellyite was used for women who spoke before an audience with both men and women. She also recruited young women such as Lucy Stone to join the work for equality.
Leaders against Abby Kelly lightened up when she married a radical abolitionist, Stephen Simons Foster, in 1845. They bought a farm near Worcester, Massachusetts. They had a daughter named Alla. Even though they had a young child, that didn't prevent them from traveling together, and they attended many meetings. They went to the first National Women's Rights Convention held in Worcester in October 1850.
The Fosters demonstrated their commitment to feminist ideals, even in old age. In 3 separate incidents during the 1870s, they allowed property to be sold for non-payment of taxes as a protest against the taxation of women without representation. On each occasion, the sheriff auctioned off their farm. Neighbors bought it and returned it to them. At age 70, Abby Kelly Foster gave the last of her powerful speeches at the 30th anniversary of the first National Women's Rights Convention in her hometown of Worcester. She died 6 years after her husband's death at age 77.